Last week somebody hacked into my computer so that the video at the link below started playing as soon as I turned it on. It purports to show the destruction of the Black Knight satellite that many people in US intelligence agencies like the NSA insist has been stopping humans from leaving the planet Earth. This news coincides with announcements by NASA of age-reversing pills and faster-than-light travel technology that will allow us to go to visit newly discovered Earth-like planets. CIA sources are also saying a secret presidential order was given to release free energy technology as well as existing anti-aging technology. The only thing that is blocking humanity from this future of immortality and exponential expansion into the universe is now a small group of people clinging to control of financial computers at the Federal Reserve Board, the Bank of Japan, the European Central Bank and the BIS. These computers need to be physically seized in order to allow the issuance of unlimited funds to let humanity spread its wings and fly. The individuals who have been forensically identified as blocking the funding for a new age are Janet Yellen at the Fed, Mario Draghi at the ECB, Haruhiko Kuroda at the BOJ and Agustin Carstens at the BIS. Special forces need to go and seize these individuals and occupy the computer centers at the central banks ASAP in order to ensure the liberation of funds for the planet Earth. If these computers and the parasites who control them are removed, multiple sources in various charitable foundations are saying that not just trillions but actual quadrillions of dollars could be released to finance an end to poverty and environmental destruction as well as research into immortality and unlimited expansion into the universe. The battle against the controllers of the Babylonian debt slavery system these central banks oversee is continuing towards final victory. Former US President Barack Obama has vanished from public view and is probably undergoing interrogation. Also last week the body of Bill and Hillary Clinton's long-term associate Vincent Foster was exhumed and was found to have 2 bullet holes to the back of his head, meaning the cause of his death was changed from suicide to murder. Pentagon and CIA sources say this finding will lead to the Clintons being prosecuted for murder. The death of the big kahuna, David Rockefeller, was also formally announced last week by his family. CIA sources say Rockefeller was kept in stasis in a vegetative state for months at an Antarctic base before the family finally gave up and announced he was no longer with us. When this writer was first informed by the Japanese authorities of a plot by the Western elite to kill 90% of humanity through disease, starvation and nuclear war, they handed me material showing that Rockefeller sat at the head of the Bilderberg Group, the Council on Foreign Relations and the Trilateral Commission and other top groups of Western power brokers. Thus he was a prime suspect as the originator of this fiendish plan. However, when I actually met Mr. Rockefeller I had the impression that, deep inside, this man thought he was doing good for the planet. The question that upcoming Truth and Reconciliation investigators need to answer now is how his vision for a united planet Earth in harmony with nature got distorted into a nightmarish genocidal plan. The forensic trail that started with Rockefeller led to George Bush Sr. and his Nazi faction of the Khazarian Mafia. These were the people linked to 9/11 and the Nazi takeover of the United States in 2001. From the trail led to P2 Lodge in Italy and the worshippers of the Black Sun. Since then the White Dragon Society, the Pentagon and Agency White Hats and their Asian allies have systematically dismantled the top-ranks old Western power structure. It started in 2013 with the resignation of Pope Maledict, followed by the abdication that year of Queen Beatrix of Holland, Sheikh Al Thani of Qatar, King Albert II of Belgium and King Juan Carlos of Spain in 2014. Then the Clinton-Bush faction lost power in the US last November and are being pursued for their crimes. Now the Japanese emperor has announced his abdication and his secret controller David Rockefeller has died. Queen Elizabeth of England and King Carl Gustaf of Sweden remain on the throne because they were not part of the genocidal plot. CIA sources say, abdications and the loss of power of these high-level people, has exposed new previously hidden layers of the world power structure. Sources of the imperial family in the Japanese indicate a mysterious Cabot family in Switzerland as controllers of North Korea. Kim Jong-un among other high-ranking lackeys with names like Eisenberg and Rosenberg. The battle to rid the planet Earth of the New World Order now raging fiercely in the United States and Japan. In Japan, Henry Kissinger went to give orders to the politician Ichiro Ozawa to ensure that the cabal continues to control South Korea and Japan, the royal family sources say. Ozawa was heard saying to People that he and Kissinger are now the leaders of the Committee of 300. Unfortunately, some people in the power still believe this. However, the truth is that both are Ronin, or samurai without a master destined to wander aimlessly. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe and the Japanese Finance Minister Taro Aso are about to be removed from power because their masters Bush and Clinton lost power in the United States. Abe went to Europe last week and tried to meet the Pope, but he was denied a hearing, which means his days in power are numbered. Bureaucratic apparatus, especially the Japanese finance, push for Aso as the next prime minister, but he is detested by the Japanese military and police because he accepted bribes in exchange for the sale of the water resources of Japan to his French Rothschild chefs. The CSIS, Center for Strategic and International Studies, of the Jesuit order, is trying to put in power Aso because Japan is a major money maker, and has a secret budget. The official statements of the government of Japan for the year 2017 was 97.45 trillion yen. On the contrary, the secret budget is valued at more than 250 trillion yen. The budget comes from things like taxes on petrol, alcohol and tobacco, and generate revenue not subject to control by the parliament. Of those 250 trillion yen, 200 trillion, about $2 trillion, goes to the Americans and 50,000 billion for the Minister of Finance, said sources of the royal family. The people of CSIS in Japan, commanded by Henry Kissinger, are wanting at all costs to preserve this flow of Japanese revenue in secret, now that their leader David Rockefeller died, the sources said. The U.S. military white hats should block Kissinger and others and redirect the flow of revenue to more beneficial objectives. Who is behind the CSIS? FBI Director James Comey and Vice President Michael Pence, and a secret efforts to oust Donald Trump, the sources say at the CIA. Now it seems to have been Comey that was illegally helping Barack Obama to intercept Donald Trump messages when he was running for president. There are also disturbing signs that the U.S. President Donald Trump is at the direction of the head in the battle against the controllers. This was demonstrated by his failed attempt to push through an absolutely failed health care reform, and that somehow had to do with the criminal gang that has established close parasitic for U.S. physicians and the American people. The graph in this article in the link above shows how much American money in red blood leeching these people. Until we see the incursions headquarters American Medical Association and the mass arrest of company executives pharmaceutical, the U.S. healthcare costs can only increase as the health and longevity of the American people can only recede. The U.S. Army and White Hats are doing a good job outside the United States these days, say Pentagon sources. The war in Daesh has taken on a new financial dimension last week, with the banning laptops and aircraft from sponsoring Daesh countries such as Turkey, Saudi Arabia and the Gulf Cooperation Council, the sources said. The Israelis, for their part, were forced to withdraw their false Muslim army Daesh in Lebanon. Israel is under a serious threat from several fronts, say sources in the Mossad. Israel has been exposed to shame, last week, after the Mossad has been identified as the source of the threats of false attacks in the centers of the Jewish community in the United States, the sources said. The Pentagon. The Khazarian Nazis in Ukraine have suffered a huge blow when a nuclear weapon present in their store of ammunition has created enormous explosions, depriving them of their vital supplies of weapons, the sources said. A video of the explosion is visible at the link below. The Pentagon sources are now saying that they expect some sort of order to the game of the battles in planet Earth around July. The Chinese President Xi Jinping summit meeting with Trump in April is to prepare the ground for a summit with Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin in July to end the conflicts in Syria and Ukraine and impose a two-state solution in Israel so that reset global currency can happen. This appeared on benjaminfulford.typepad.com on March 24, 2017. The Japanese government is trying to murder me. By Benjamin Fulford. March 24, 2017. The Japanese government has made repeated attempts to kill me. The best documented event took place in June of 2009 when an agent by the name of Matsuaki Okubo stabbed me with a poisoned needle in front of multiple witnesses. When I went to the Japanese police, they refused to take any action on the matter. Further research showed me that Okubo works for Japanese politician Ichiro Ozawa. Now the Japanese authorities are seizing 100% of my income. They want me to pay over 14 million yen, $100,000, for 7 years payroll taxes for people who subcontracted for me. However, all those people paid their taxes, so this is completely bogus. I have also been paying my taxes. Last year I paid the required taxes on an after-tax income of 3.7 million yen, $34,000. So, the Japanese tax authorities are saying I will have zero income for the next 5 years so that I can pay off this bogus bill. The current 100% seizure came after U.S. Secretary of State Rex Tillerson and Rockefeller bagman Henry Kissinger visited Japan. Tillerson worked for ExxonMobil, so he is a Rockefeller slave. The top Rockefeller agent in Japan is a man called Hiroaki Fushimi, who also works for ExxonMobil. Fushimi ordered Japanese Finance Minister Taro Aso to order the seizure of my bank account. Aso also takes orders from the French branch of the Rothschild family. The low-ranking bureaucratic dupe who carried out the orders is Raiko Shinohara. Her phone number is 8133-542-2111 extension 3447. My entire PayPal income is being garnished by her orders. She told a contact of mine that this irregular seizure was ordered by her superiors. Further investigation of this incident also now points to the XIS according to members of the Japanese royal family. The XIS is headquartered in Georgetown, meaning it is a Jesuit-linked organization. The trail leads from there to the faction of the P2 Freemason Lodge in Italy that was involved in the Fukushima nuclear and tsunami mass murder terror attack on Japan, the royal family sources are saying. These people are mortally afraid of a change in government in Japan that would reveal to the world's public the truth about Fukushima. In any case, me and my staff are now unable to pay rent or buy food, so donations are vitally needed if we are to be able to continue providing the world's public with the truth. Please send any money you can to the White Dragon Foundation. Account number, 1,378,636. Branch number, 246. Mizuho Bank, Kikijoji Branch. The 2nd of February 2013 Kikijoji Honcho, Musashi no Shi, Tokyo. Japan 18